Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another Ask FM, another LSM Q&A that I'm doing for this channel, which I'm going to be answering your subscriber questions. And of course, if you want to ask me any questions, don't forget to check this Ask FM down below in the description so you can ask me any and all questions, which I'll unfortunately have to answer, no matter how dumb they may be. But before I begin to your subscriber questions, I'm going to introduce my special guest who is returning for yet another Ask FM for a second week in a row, and his name is... John Cena!
Alrighty guys, it is QAAMAN here today, but don't worry because Mike is gonna pull a Geekdom 101 and he's gonna use my real name because he doesn't give a flying...
Shut your mouth.
I'm talking about Sheriff.
And we can dig it.
But anyway, we're going to be doing your subscriber questions, and Quinn is going to start off with the first one from the bottom up.
Hey, Laughingstock Media, how come Gohan steals a lot of Yamcha hairstyles? If you search Yamcha and Gohan same hair, it will show all hairstyles that Gohan used from Yamcha. Well, I kind of see where this person's coming from because, you know, just off the top of my head, Mike, I've always kind of felt like future Gohan kind of looked like Goku's body with Yamcha's hairstyle. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's not just that. It seems like Gohan just takes all of Yamcha's hairstyles. You know, Yamcha has the bowl cut at one point, Gohan does. Yamcha has the long hair, Gohan eventually has long hair. Yamcha, who during the Cell games pretty much looks exactly like Gohan when he grows up. So, I mean, it's very eerily similar. Like, Toriyama's just like, fuck it, we'll make you the strongest character look like the weakest character, which is kind of ironic. But, yeah, I mean, they've always kind of looked the same.
Good point.
But yeah, we're actually going to start from the real bottom, because apparently you don't know what bottom means. So, do you think that there will be a third Dragon Ball movie since Battle of Gods, I mean, in the next few years? I don't really think so at this point, unless Super fails, that they're going to really do a third one, unless it's like, you know, an arc that they're just going to do in Super afterwards. And I don't know how they would actually work that out. So, what do you think, Quinn?
I mean, there were those rumors about that movie that was supposed to come out, and like I kind of feel like it kind of makes sense to do another movie because, I mean, you know, Battle of Gods and Fakatsu no F were so successful. I mean, I can't see why they wouldn't do it. I mean, money is their biggest motivator, and you know, those movies prove that the level of interest in Dragon Ball is still extremely high. I mean, hell, I wouldn't be a YouTuber, you know, for the most part if, you know, Dragon Ball still wasn't so popular. But so I say, yeah, I could definitely see a third Dragon Ball movie. Well, I guess a new Dragon Ball movie, because there's like, what, 17 now?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see another one, to be honest. Like, I'd rather just watch movie versions at this point, just because, I don't know, they're more special, but, I mean, at the same time, I'd like them to be longer, because, you know, just having a 90-minute Dragon Ball movie, you know, it's just not long enough, like, considering that they always try and condense an entire arc within it, you know, unless they're going to do cliffhangers and just have them all tie in directly into each other and just be, like, released yearly, then, you know, I'd rather just have the series the way it is, but with new content. But, I mean, movies are more interesting, and I've always liked movies more than series, so, yeah. But moving on, what makes DBZ Abridged so good? Well, what does, QAAMAN?
Well, I think it's just the humor and the inside jokes to Dragon Ball fans. I think make it funny, and they make it simple to follow that, you know, even a really casual fan or a person who's not that into Dragon Ball would like it. So I think that's what really makes them so good.
Yeah, it's a very casual kind of show, you know.
Fan service.
Yeah, I mean, it really can appeal. Even if you're not a Dragon Ball fan, you could still enjoy it on a level. You know, it just says comedy. So I think that's pretty much it. Just the humor involved. How about you take this?
Oh, let's see.
Bottom one.
Bro, do you like Lord of the Rings?
Do you?
Yeah, I saw it when I was a kid. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I like Star Wars a lot more. What do you say, Mike?
Yeah, I definitely think that Star Wars is something I enjoy more than Lord of the Rings, but I love Lord of the Rings. I have all the books, not just Lord of the Rings, but The Hobbit and the Silmarillion and other, unfinished tales, and I'm a big fan of the Legendarium of Tolkien, all that kind of stuff like that. So, I mean, if you guys are interested in Lord of the Rings, let us know down below. Maybe even ask me more questions on my Ask FM about it, because, I'd really like to talk about it. I could even do videos on it if you guys like, because I know way too much about Lord of the Rings.
Well, my quick question, you were saying that you're also a fan of Star Wars. In episode 5, when Vader sliced off Luke's arm, what did Luke say?
Luke said, "Ah!"
But don't worry, guys. It's an inside joke, but let's just say this. When you compare Dragon Ball and Star Wars, Mike and I have made a glaring observation. They basically treat amputees the way they treat using the Dragon Balls to wish people back to life in Star Wars. Oh yeah, you lost an arm? No problem, right, Mike?
Yeah, we'll just give you a robot one. Why not? One of the chief characters in the series lost all of his limbs, and it's like,
No biggie.
How come Gohan's... Oh, wait, we already did that one. What's this one right here?
Have you played Xenoverse? If so...
No, this one.
Ooh.
The one that I'm circling.
Oh, sorry. Bro, I like your video and keep up the good content. What do you think of Vegito? I always felt that his character is very interesting and very powerful. Well, yeah, I like Vegito. He wasn't around for a very long time. I mean, if you go by the anime, he was around for a few episodes, and if you go by the manga, he was only around for a few chapters. But I mean, I didn't like the fact that he was toying around, but I understand why. He wanted to save everybody on the inside, and people have to understand that it did seem like Vegito dragged that fight out, but that was because he had the power the whole time. So he was okay, but he's not something I really look forward to watching.
He really should have just killed Boo, and then they should have just wished everyone back. I mean, it was stupid that he didn't, but...
They died anyways.
Yeah, I mean, they died because Goku's an idiot, and Toriyama wrote him to be that way. But, yeah, I mean, if you guys tell us your thoughts down below on Vegito. Also, in the future, Quinn, if someone asks me a question, directed towards me, I like your content, you should answer the question in my voice.
Okay, no problem. Or Harold's.
Yes. You do your best impression of him. Have you played Xenoverse? If so, what do you play it on? I haven't played Xenoverse really yet, actually, to be honest. I'm still waiting to get on PC, but that's where I'm going to play it if I actually get the chance to. How about you?
Well, Mike, you already know the answer to this because you've been on my streams where I've been playing it with a lot of my fans. Yeah, I play Xenoverse on PC. It's a fun game, it's definitely a better game when you're with other people. It kind of gets a little bit dry after you've already beaten everything, but it's an awesome game.
That's what she said. But yeah, I definitely look forward to playing it. So, how about the next question?
Well, let's see. Yusuke end of series versus Goku on Namek before Super Saiyan. Okay, well, let's just say Keaton Stevenson. Is that how you say it? Keaton?
Yeah.
Good question. Mike and I are actually planning to do a whole 3-part series and talking about... This is a secret for those of you who stick through with the Q&A. We're going to talk about the speed, strength, and durability of Yu Yu Hakusho characters versus Dragon Ball characters, but... it's kind of complicated, but if you're going by Goku on Namek, I mean, I can't see how any Yu Yu Hakusho characters... I can't see how any Yu Yu Hakusho character is stronger than any Dragon Ball character post-Saiyan Saga. I think the Saiyan... I've always felt like the Saiyan Saga is probably the absolute peak that a Yu Yu Hakusho character could compete with the Dragon Ball. And only in certain categories, because the durability is a little bit off, but, Mike has his theories, and I'll just say this really briefly, a little, preview into our big video coming up. Mike, would you care to explain the whole bullet thing really briefly?
I mean, the thing is that, there was an example of Yoko Kurama, I believe it was either him or his friend that he was doing the job with, was injured by a bullet. Now, first off, we do see Yoko in, actual fox form before, so it's, it's debatable whether or not he can transform between the two, but, they talk about how he was injured by, did they say he was injured actually by a bullet?
I don't remember, but I know for sure his friend was killed and he was just injured.
Yeah, so it doesn't really make any sense, though, when you think about it, because, for example, Toguro, with the flick of a finger, blew somebody's head off, and then he was punching Yusuke at full force, and it wasn't really doing anything when Yusuke's power was fully unlocked, so obviously that'd be a lot more than a bullet, you know what I mean? So it makes no sense for bullets to do any damage to them, and especially since Yoko was like an A-class demon.
And, you know, just to add some fire to what Mike was talking about, Yusuke blew up an entire mountain when he was fighting against Sensui, when he shot a spirit gun at him and it missed, and it literally took out an entire mountain. So, I mean, you're talking about guys that could do that. I don't know, the whole bullet thing is weird.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a difficult question to talk about, you know, but we're going to do that series about it, and you guys can look forward to it. What do you say your top 3 favorite techniques from the anime manga are by Keaton Stevenson again? I guess he means Dragon Ball, Z, and whatever. What do you say your favorite ones are, QAAMAN?
Instant transmission, Hellzone grenade, and I'd probably say Kamehameha.
My favorites would probably be the Tri-Beam, instant transmission, and chopsticks. The third one's the best, obviously.
Fuck you.
Oh, this is a great question for you.
Oh my goodness. Would you rather have to wear Piccolo's weighted clothes 24/7 for the rest of your life, or look like Cool Dog? And Keaton Stevenson again. I'd wear Piccolo's clothes. I'm sorry, man. I don't want to be green with 4 eyes and smelling like crap, according to what Vegeta said in the dub.
I mean, the thing is that you would never be able to move again, considering how much they weigh. Like, they'd probably crush you the second that you put them on, especially for you. I mean, Harold could easily wear them, but I mean, you're, you, so.
Asshole.
I mean, those things weigh a ton, so you weigh negative ton, so, I mean, that would kind of make it 0.
Go to
I don't know. Will you do more discussions as the Angry Austrian? Well, Harold, what do you think?
Yeah, obviously, we're going to be doing a lot more in the future. Just stay tuned, because you're going to see some very soon. You might have already seen some, actually.
Yeah, surprisingly, you guys, there's actually a lot of people out there who actually believe that Mike and Harold are actually the same person. But funny enough, Harold is actually one of Mike's roommates that dorms with him, so...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, how can I possibly be Mike? I mean, come on, that guy is not anywhere near as muscular as I am. What can you do, 100 push-ups? I could do 100 quadrillion. Damn, and that's just a warm-up with one finger.
Wait, who, Harold? Who could do?
Me.
Harold, ladies and gentlemen. How about this question?
Okay. Oh my god, you like to give me all the weird ones. Are you voting for
these nuts
for president?
Yes, I'm probably voting for
these nuts
for president, just because he's got
these nuts.
Although his competitor
John Cena
would be he kind of takes the cake in my opinion.
Agreed.
Can Goku be a good martial art teacher? What about Vegeta? Goku's kind of an asshole who never taught anyone any of the most important moves that they could possibly use to become helpful, so probably not. And Vegeta has only ever trained under a master once, so I don't know how he would feel about teaching someone. But I don't know. I mean, Goku kind of technically taught Gohan how to fight, so...
And Goten.
No, yeah. Well, I mean,
remember it was stated. Well,
yeah.
I mean, if
he trained him after, during the 10-year gap, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Although we never see him training him during Super, because Super probably forgot about that, but who cares?
So, I mean, honestly, I do think Goku would be a good martial arts teacher because, I mean, he wouldn't want to kill you, and he understands, pushing your limits. Vegeta would probably say, if you can't, you might as well die or survive the training. So, I mean, I'd rather train with Goku.
Yeah. Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 versus Whis. What do you think?
This is such a complicated argument because, if you're going by, GT, I know it's the cheapest argument in the world, but just in terms of time placements, Gogeta should theoretically be stronger. But if we're just crossing all of that out, I mean, the whole thing that Josh brought up about, you know, the fact of like scaling Kid Goku's performance against Baby, and then scaling that to how Vegeta performed against Beerus, who now says he only used 10% of his power. I mean, if you're going by that logic, and by the fact that fusion at the very least has to be stronger than a 2x multiplier, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has to be like 1,000,000 times stronger than Whis. If you're going by that logic, by Toriyama's 6, 10, 15 thing.
If you're just like setting them both aside, we barely got to see Gogeta do much of anything, to be honest, other than just like annihilate Omega Shenron in that fight. But like, I don't know, like, just from what we saw with Goku versus Beerus, like their punches shattering the universe, you know, I would assume that Whis would be able to beat him just from those feats alone, but I mean, GT's feats are incredibly inconsistent, so I don't know. It's too hard to tell. They're not really compatible, despite the fact that they exist within the same series, because we don't know the limits of God Ki or the limits of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Agreed.
All right, how about this one?
What if Vegeta was alive to help Goku fight Frieza on planet Namek? That's a good question. I've actually done a topic kind of branching off of this, of what if Vegeta turned Super Saiyan against Frieza, and in my honest opinion, I think if Vegeta was alive to help Goku, I mean, are you talking about what point? Because are you saying after Goku becomes a Super Saiyan? Because at that point, Goku doesn't really need his help that much because he could beat him by himself. If you're talking like when Goku's powering up the Spirit Bomb, I think, you know, Vegeta and Piccolo could like help stall better. But, I mean, once Frieza comes back, I mean, he would still easily take out anybody. And Goku was basically almost crippled at that point, but somehow Super Saiyan healed him and made him agile again, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, Frieza got hit with a Spirit Bomb, and yet was still able to go 100%, and didn't seem like it really did anything to him, except for hurt his tail a little bit, and his eye winced or whatever, and Goku was fucking, like, done in terms of all of his energy being gone, and then he turned Super Saiyan, and he was at full power. Like, it doesn't really make any sense, but, I mean, that's what they tell us happened, so, I don't know. But yeah, I think that Vegeta would just be killed by Frieza during the fight, so I don't think it would really make any difference at all. Like, there would be no real difference. What if Dende heal Goku, and Goku went to fight Frieza, versus Gohan, Vegeta, and Krillin inside Dragon Ball Z? What do you think?
I mean, that would probably just lead to the same thing. I mean, Goku would just get there faster. I mean,
do you think that Goku would get the same level of Zenkai being healed by Dende that he would have been, say, in the healing chamber while feeling Frieza's power and stuff like that? Do you think that it's irrelevant, or do you think that actually played a part in his Zenkai?
Honestly, Mike, I've never been a believer. I know it's inconsistent, but I've never been a believer that, like, sensing a person's power increases a Zenkai boost. I just feel like it's just terrible writing. And I don't want to accuse people of doing that, but, I mean, honestly, I just think if he healed Goku, Goku would probably fight him. But the thing is, I mean, he could beat Frieza up until his fourth form, but, like, if Frieza just says, hell, I'm just going to go all out and just take you all out, I mean, everybody's screwed anyways, right?
Yeah. I don't know why Vegeta got as strong as... What?
No, just gonna say, I've always been a believer if Goku came early to help them, that Frieza probably would have been a little bit more intimidated if Vegeta wasn't almost dead at that point, and he probably would have been more scared by Goku's power and just would have used more power to just wipe him out.
I mean, I did a video on my channel, which is, what if Goku fought Frieza when he first arrived on Namek, and Goku could theoretically beat Frieza up until his final form with the Kaioken times 20, assuming he could do it, which, I mean, there isn't really any proof, I guess, that he couldn't have done times 20. We know for a fact he could do times 10, because he said he was trained to do that on his way to Namek. And he just didn't use it against Ginyu because he didn't need to. But, yeah, I don't know why Vegeta got as strong as he did, and I don't know why Frieza did, unless it has something to do with sensing their ki. I mean, not Frieza, Goku. Honestly, that point in the series kind of fucked up the rest of the series just because they made Frieza too strong with all the transformations. Even Toriyama kind of admitted this because originally he said that he was going to have Super Saiyan be like 10 times, but I guess he just messed up because Frieza became way too strong and Kaioken times 20 existed, so I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it never really makes much sense, which kind of leads into the next question, which would be
worst moment in Dragon Ball Z that was poorly executed in the anime. It's a very good question. Poorly executed in the anime. Well, I mean, if there was one thing that I felt was poorly executed, I guess it kind of has to deal with filler, kind of twisting the story in a weird way. It'd probably have to be when, Frieza supposedly killed Goku on Namek, even though it doesn't make logical sense because they used the Earth's Dragon Balls to wish the people back to life, and Goku was already wished back with the Earth's Dragon Balls, which means that it couldn't have been Goku who was wished back with those balls. So, with that said, it caused a lot of fans to believe that Frieza killed Goku and all that, and Gohan going to fight Frieza, and then Goku comes out of nowhere, and then Vegeta acknowledging Goku is a Super Saiyan on Namek right before he teleports, but then he's just so shocked later on when he sees a Super Saiyan for the first time. But even though the filler showed Vegeta watching Goku on Namek, because that was poorly written,
Yeah.
He's so shocked by a Super Saiyan transformation, but it was but Vegeta, you saw Goku on Namek for 10 seconds before you left as a Super Saiyan in that filler episode. So I'd say that was probably the worst executed thing.
The thing is, too, about that, in the manga, Gohan never even got to the ship before he was teleported. That's another thing that contributes to people thinking that the fight wasn't 5 minutes, because the fact that Gohan was able to go with Bulma all the way back to the ship with Piccolo, then come back and fight Frieza, then go back before they were eventually teleported, which never happened in the manga. Right. They were on their way there, and then they got teleported away. And it only makes sense that Gohan didn't get there in time because he was out of energy at the point. But, yeah, my least favorite part, that was filler, would definitely have to be when, after, Vegeta's sacrificing himself with the final atonement, and there was this whole scene where Piccolo went and talked to Vegeta and explained what would happen, all this stuff. In the very next episode, when they're doing the replay, which animes always do for some stupid reason, Piccolo tries to, immediately after telling Krillin, no, you can't go in there and help him, he's already made his choice, Piccolo immediately in the next episode tries to fly to stop Vegeta, and Krillin tells him to stop and let him do what he finished, which completely contradicts and, ruins the entire moment, because the fact that it, hurts Piccolo's character, because Piccolo accepted it, and he was, respectful of Vegeta's wishes and stuff like that, and then immediately the anime tries to completely undo everything that just happened with Piccolo. I always hated that scene because it just kind of it just ruined the entire character moment with Piccolo. It made it just seem oh, I need to go back and stop him. It's just that's complete opposite of what just happened. So I always hated that. And there's other moments, obviously, some of the filler in Z kind of sucks. Most of the filler in Dragon Ball is actually good, though. It's actually pretty fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty extended answer.
A lot of people speculate on how strong Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan really is. I honestly think it's somewhere between Chaozu, Early Z, and Krillin is fight versus Tambourine. Thoughts?
Somebody needs a drug test.
Especially with the next question. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan versus Super Saiyan Gotenks.
Well, okay, I wouldn't say... Okay, I thought
it said Goten at first.
Well, okay, it's an obvious answer, but I can see why people could get confused. Super Saiyan Gotenks is arguably almost as strong as Super Saiyan 3, and I know it sounds complicated, but long story short, the proof is that when Piccolo went into the hyperbolic time chamber and he sent Super Saiyan Gotenks, he felt that Gotenks had a chance to match up with Super Buu. And keep in mind, this is a Super Buu who's stronger than Fat Buu, and keep in mind that not only is Super Buu stronger than Fat Buu, but Gotenks didn't even show Piccolo Super Saiyan 3. So that's saying if you could hold your own with Super Buu in if you think you stand a chance against Super Buu in just a Super Saiyan form, that means you would have to be stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
I mean, the thing is that it becomes complicated because Gotenks, becomes 8 times stronger and he's only about equal to him. But, like, the thing is, aside from, assuming he wasn't Super Saiyan 2 because of how, like, inconsistent it's drawn during that. Same thing with Vegito because he powers up and he has lightning, but everyone assumes that he's Super Saiyan, but whatever. The thing is just, like... It's even more there's proof that he was as strong or around Goku's level as a Super Saiyan before he even went into the time chamber, though, because, for example, Goku says about Gotenks, if you fuse, you'll be able to beat Buu. He was certain of it because he was just he knew he can go Super Saiyan. But the thing is that when it comes to Goku,
he never showed him Super Saiyan 3.
Well, he never showed them Super Saiyan 3, but he also, he didn't even, think of them going into the time chamber to train, you know what I mean? He never suggested that. He just assumed that they would be able to go, they would be able to train on their own, outside the time chamber, and just the second they fused and became a Super Saiyan, they could beat Buu. So, a weaker Gotenks as a Super Saiyan is arguably stronger than Fat Buu and could beat him. Which implies that he's already in the same ballpark of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which only makes sense as to why Super Saiyan Gotenks after the time chamber would be arguably stronger than Goku, and why he'd be significantly stronger as a Super Saiyan 3. So I would definitely say, he's gonna curb stomp Gohan, even though I'd like Gohan more.
I like the next question. You want to close with that one?
Yeah, that sounds a pretty good way to leave everything off. If Goku, Vegeta, and all the Saiyans on Earth can turn Super Saiyan, does that mean any of the other Saiyans have potential to become a Super Saiyan? What do you think?
I've always been a believer that, people kind of exaggerated that whole Super Saiyan legend thing because it was so hard to achieve, but theoretically, Dragon Ball has shown you that with training and practice, you could basically master it. I know Tarbal's weak, but I'm pretty sure if Tarble trained with Vegeta or Goku or Goten, Trunks, or Gohan, he'd be able to turn Super Saiyan eventually. At least if he had the right conditions and the anger. Even though, the whole conditions is kind of a joke when you think about it. So, I think it's possible.
The thing is that nowhere in the series is it ever stated that anyone has a real limit. It always seems like they can just keep getting stronger and stronger. Humans became stronger than an elite warrior and Raditz in a year. Way stronger, in fact. Even Yamcha could beat him at that point. And, they just kept getting stronger into the hundreds of thousands and even low millions in the Cell Saga and the Buu Saga. So, Tien went from weaker than Raditz, to being able to hold down semi-perfect Cell with his Tri-Beam for a long period of time. So, there's nothing to suggest that Tarble couldn't become a Super Saiyan if little kids could do it. There's nothing to suggest any of that stuff. So, I think anyone who is a Saiyan in Dragon Ball has the potential to become a Super Saiyan. I think even Pan has a potential we just never saw in GT because, there was a rumor that Toriyama didn't know, couldn't figure out how to draw her as a Super Saiyan or something. I don't really know if that's true. Do you have any idea about that, or do you just think...
It's in one of my ancient videos, Can Pan and Bullet turn Super Saiyan, and it was stated that he didn't know what they would look like. That's why he never created, a female Super Saiyan. That was the rumor.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I think anyone who is a Saiyan in Dragon Ball can become a Super Saiyan, who has enough of a power level. And that's about it. This was a good question to wrap it up on, so this has been another Q&A, another Ask FM for this channel, which I was answering your subscriber questions. And of course, if you want to ask me any of these questions, don't forget to go down below to the description, read that. And if you have any thoughts about the questions that we've answered on this Ask FM, don't forget to let us know your thoughts down below, and also especially about the featured question. And don't forget to check out QAAMAN's channel in the description, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more farts to come in the future.